What is up, designers? Welcome to my Photoshop tutorial. Today we're going to be making a favicon and also talking a little bit about it. So I'm pretty sure you know it, but here it is. This is a favicon right here next to Google, and every single website has a different one depending on their branding. It shows up on a browser. So you need to know that different people use different browsers and different browsers have different colors. But mostly it's just light and dark interface. So for instance, here we have a light interface. And if I, for instance, open the incognito mode, we have a dark interface. So if I go to google.com, here you can see that the favicon looks differently, right? From the one on the light interface. And this is where PNG format comes in. So you really want to use PNG format because PNG format provides transparency. Now, you might also want to go for a type of icon that is simply square, and that's also fine. For instance, here you can see that the whole space for favicon is filled up and they don't use transparency at all. So that's really up to you how you want to create your favicon, but I'm going to be creating a transparent favicon. So let's just jump into Photoshop and start creating it. In terms of size, usually websites ask for 32 by 32 or 16 by 16, and in some cases they ask for larger sizes, but if you're going to make in larger size, well, that's pretty easy. But I'm going to discuss a little bit about the small scale. So let's start off with 32 by 32 here and create the document. And so we have this little canvas here and we want to pop our icon in here. I've got a little ninja icon here, so I'm going to drop that in. And the good thing about dropping in files like this in Photoshop straight from your folder is that it automatically becomes a smart object. The smart object means that it has this little icon and it's good for resizing essentially. As designers, we need to make sure that we are efficient in designing favicons and make sure that we use and utilize all the space available. So as you can see in my example, and this might happen to you as well, the file dropped in and it seems that it is filling up the canvas, but it's actually not, as we can see. I'm going to disable the background, actually delete it because we don't need it. We're going to make a transparent background. And so we have all this little space right here that we can use, because when you're working on really small scale, you want to use all the space you got. So I'm going to resize it, clicking Control or Command T to go into transform mode. And I'm just going to gently resize it upwards while pressing the Shift, because when you press Shift, it is resized uniformly. So I'm going to make sure that all the edges are touching, but also make sure that none of the pixels are going outside the canvas, because otherwise then you're going to cut off your icon, which is not good. So I'm pretty happy with that. So that's pretty much how you want to scale it up and make sure it is sitting inside the canvas. Now I might want to move this to the left just to center it. And that's looking pretty good. So now we want to save it. So I'm going to press Control or Command Shift S, which is the same as going to File and then clicking the Save As button. And then I'm going to go ahead and save it. I don't know, favicon, just call it whatever you want. And then in here, Save As Type, make sure that you choose PNG format and just save it. And I also recommend saving it in the smallest file size, because every little space matters when you're dealing with websites. So the bigger the file size, the longer the website is going to load. It really doesn't matter on favicons, but it's just a general rule to keep in mind. So when clients ask me favicons, I usually provide them with at least 2 sizes. So what I do next is, after saving the file, I go into the image size, which is easily accessed by Control or Command Alt or Option I. Sounds complicated, but it's not. You can access the same menu by going to Image and Image Size right here. And then here we have the size, and I'm going to resize it to 16 pixels instead. So that's twice smaller. And then, yeah, just click OK. And I'm going to make sure that that looks good as well, because actually, if you go to, let's take this as an example here, and if you measure it, it's actually displayed as 16 by 16. So you want to make sure that it looks good on this size as well. And yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do about this. Like, you are very limited in pixels, so your logo might look a little skewed, but generally I recommend using as little detail in your favicon as possible. So don't use your whole logo name or the whole company name. That's a very bad thing to do because it won't be readable. But just maybe use the first letter or just the icon if it has one, and generally you should be good to go. So after resizing that, I'm gonna go ahead and save it in the same method as a PNG, except this time it's gonna be Favicon 16 by 16, just so I know. Again, saving it in smallest file size, and that's it. So that's really it. Yeah, the video is finished. You can click the next one, or you can rewatch this one, or you can click the subscribe button, or you can click the like button, or you can just comment down and make friends in the comments, or you can comment saying what you thought about it, or what you think about my voice, or what you think about life, or what you think about favicons in general. Do you think they bring good to life? Do you think they have reason to be, reason to exist? Do you think that existence of favicons adds flavor to our life? Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.